In today's video I'm going to show you how to set up your Ring DC to DC charge controller. I shall go through the menu and show you your optimum settings, especially if you've got a smart alternator. You don't want to miss this video. But first, allow me to introduce myself. My name's Mel, welcome to my world, and for those of you that are new to my channel, it's all about self-built DIY camper vans and camper van related stuff. So if that's something that interests you, then please do consider subscribing to my channel. Right, so let's get into today's video. Today I'm going to talk about the Ring DC to DC charge controller. And the main reason for this is because I've had so many people ask me how they set them up, or how to set it up, how the menu works, how to go through the menu and change the settings to best suit your vehicle and your circumstances. I'm also going to show you how I set mine up for my own personal preferences. That's what it's all about. After all, this is my personal vehicle and I like things to be done just the way I like them to be done. But they do come with factory settings, and if you've got an older one of these, then the factory settings need to be changed, especially if you've got a smart alternator. Now, before I do any of that, I need to remove the seat of my van. This bit of seat here, I need to remove this because my charge controller is down underneath there. So that's my next job. Take all this away, have a bit of a tidy up, then bring the camera down and I'll show you exactly how the settings work on this charge controller. So here we are. This is the Ring DC to DC charge controller. It is a smart alternator charge controller, also an MPPT charge controller for solar panels, and the display you're looking at right now is showing me that it's in float mode, and I know this because it just says 13.1 volts, and it will fluctuate. It will go up in a minute because I've got the lights on in my van. So as the lights in my van draw energy from my leisure battery, this will quickly replace it. It should pulsate any minute now. There you go. It's because I got the lights on. If I didn't have the lights on, if I had everything switched off, it would just simply stay at 13.1 volts or thereabouts. So that's the display, and as you can see from the little display there, I'm drawing power from my solar panel into my leisure battery, and the leisure battery is pretty full, so that's all good. Now what else can this tell us? Now if I press the menu button once, it will tell me how many amps are going into my leisure battery. Obviously it's 0, but it will fluctuate because I've got my lights on. As you can see, it will go back to 0 in a minute. It's just pulsating a little bit of power into my leisure batteries. There you go, it's gone back to 0. And if I press this again, that's how many volts are coming from my solar panel. So that's the voltage available. My solar panels, by the way, are really dirty, and it is an overcast day, so I'm pretty impressed that it's 18.9 volts. If I press it again, it'll go back to how many amps are going into my leisure battery. Again, that should pulsate because I've got my lights on in the van, and as my lights draw power from my leisure battery, it's simply replacing it pretty much instantaneously, as you can see. So it's working really well. So I press it one more time and it should go back to our original display. So how do we get into the menu to alter and adjust our settings? Now there are some settings that are really important. They're vital, especially if you've got an older unit, and I'll talk about that as I go through the settings. Yeah, if you've got an older unit, then pay attention because this applies to you, especially if you've got a smart alternator. Right, so we press and hold the button down for 2 seconds and it will show us our first voltage. Now this 14.8, that is our bulk voltage. Solar panel will put into our batteries when they're depleted. So this is the maximum voltage that will go into our batteries. It'll be 14.8 volts, 30 amps maximum. That's if our batteries are depleted. So that's like our boost charge. So if I press the menu down button, that's our float charge, which we saw just now was 13.2 volts. Well, it's fluctuating between 13 and 14 volts, and we can change this setting if we want to, but I won't. This is factory setting and I prefer to leave it. Now this is the important one. 12.2 volts is the cutoff voltage. This is when there's no solar panel available and you're relying on your engine battery to charge your leisure batteries. But if your engine battery drops below 12.2 volts, it will cut off to stop your engine battery going too flat. If I press down again, this is the recovery voltage. So when your engine battery voltage comes up again to over 12.7 volts, then your unit will start charging your leisure batteries again. And this is to safeguard your engine battery. Now the thing is, if you've got an older one of these units, this voltage, the cutoff voltage, will be set at 12.6 volts, which is a little bit high, especially if you've got a smart alternator, because if your smart alternator whilst you're driving drops below 12.6, if it's an older unit it'll be set at 12.6, mine's set at 12.2, so yeah, don't want to confuse you, but if the alternator it produces less than 12.2 volts, this will stop charging my leisure battery because it thinks my engine battery has dropped below that voltage, so it cuts off to safeguard my engine battery going flat. I'm just putting it back, it resets itself if you leave it alone. So that's why it's important, if you've got an older one of these, to make sure this setting is 12.2 volts and not 12.6, because most modern alternators, smart alternators, will trickle charge your engine battery below 12.6 volts, which will give the appearance that this isn't actually working. And it is working, it's just that setting is wrong. So it's very important, if you've got this set at 12.6 volts, change it down to 12.2. Let's just go back to that. Because also, as well as changing that from 12.6 to 12.2, you will need to change this from 13.1 to 12.7. So if you've got an older one, this will show 13.1. So you need to change it to 12.7, especially if you've got a smart alternator. And this is where the mistake is made by people that give these a bad reviews, because they've got this set wrong. Okay, so just recap on that. This voltage should be 12.2, not 12.6. If you're showing 12.6, change it to 12.2. And your recovery voltage, if this is showing 13.1, you need to change it to 12.7. okay, hopefully that helps somebody out. This is the mistake, well, not mistake, this is, yeah, it is a mistake actually. It's a mistake on Ring's part, because they set the cutoff voltage too high and the recovery voltage too high, and they're not set low enough for modern smart alternators. Now press the button again, we'll just go back to that. So that's our cutoff voltage, recovery voltage, and then the next one you can see it says on. This means I've got my solar priority switched on, which means solar gets priority over my alternator. So basically, if I'm driving on a hot sunny day, my solar panel will continue charging my leisure battery rather than my alternator. And this kind of makes sense. Why would you use your alternator to charge your leisure battery on a hot sunny day when you've got a solar panel? And in my mind, all that does, simply, it saves fuel, it saves strain on your alternator, and it saves your fuel. A lot of people don't like using solar priority. Let's go back to that. You can change this by pressing enter, it will start to flash. Press the down button, it will turn off. So now it's just basically normal. So by having this switched on, in the summer I can use my solar panel to charge my batteries all the time, even when I am driving. It stops putting strain on the alternator basically. But in the winter or at night time when I'm driving, my alternator will then still charge my leisure battery, because the solar panel won't be producing as much power. So basically, if the solar panel isn't producing enough energy, then the alternator will kick in. But on a hot sunny day, the alternator won't kick in. And that's the good thing about these. That's the thing I like about them. You can have that option. You can have the option to turn your alternator off, basically stop your alternator charging your leisure battery. It does stop the strain on your alternator, and it saves your fuel as well, because you're not using your alternator to charge your leisure battery unnecessarily. So allow me to demonstrate how simple these are to connect up. Really simple. It doesn't get any simpler than this. And I'll show you using the side of the box rather than getting on my knees and showing you the actual unit itself. So on the side of the box you've got these 4 symbols. That's all it is, just 4 connections. The first one is a simple plug-in connection. This is the temperature sensor that goes to your leisure battery, and this senses the heat of your leisure battery. If your leisure battery starts to get too hot, it will cut out, saving you overheating your leisure battery. And that literally just connects to the live terminal of your battery and then plugs into the bottom of the unit. The second symbol is your solar panel, plus and minus. Again, really simple, just 1 plus, 1 minus, straight into the bottom of the unit. Simple as that, straight from your solar panel. The next symbol is your supply battery, i.e. the battery for your vehicle. So you run two cables from that, a plus and a minus. Simply screw those into the bottom of the unit. And then the third one, or the fourth and final one, is your target battery or your leisure battery, the battery you wish to charge. And again, you've just got a simple plus and minus. It's as easy as that. Well, there you go. What a fantastic bit of kit. It gives you full control on how you charge your leisure batteries. I mean, like I said earlier, why use your alternator to charge your leisure battery on a hot sunny day? Just don't make sense. And that's the reason I like these, because you can switch on solar priority. Now, I will put a link in the description to where I buy my charge controllers from. I think there's a company there somewhere that sells it as a kit. They do all the wiring and everything you need to fit this to your vehicle. So I'll put a link in the description to that company on eBay. So well, there you go. Hopefully you like this video. Maybe you've even found it useful, mildly entertaining. If you did, please do give me the thumbs up. And don't forget, if you're new to my channel, please do consider subscribing. And by subscribing to my channel, you'll help me save the local wildlife. I've got 2 cats and they're both hungry. Thanks for watching. Ta-ra for now. It says on the box, it's a smart charge controller, so smart people fit smart charge controllers. It saves you overheating your leisure battery. Timed that well, didn't he? Couldn't make it up, could you?